So we're back again with the final episode of The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. In the last episode, we have cleared out the last 5 remaining barriers of inside Ganon's castle. You know how he is, he likes to set up all these little barriers for us and try to block us from getting inside of the corridor. You know how Ganon can be, he is just the way that he is inside every Zelda game, although in Wind Waker he has had like a bit more softer side to him because he wanted like a better life in that one, as opposed to this part where he actually is absorbed within the depths of the desert and the elements that just have traumatized him for a long, long time. So, we're going to take him out. We're going to help him out and put him out of his misery, right? Anyway. So, yeah, in the last time, I just pretty much ended off in this little area, right in front of this big door. But funny thing is that we actually have the key to it, but it is not the actual boss area. Well, it is, but not in the very area itself where we fight him in. Unless you happen to fall all the way down from where those floors are going to collapse. Funny, I know. But actually, let's go ahead and obtain a giant abundance of magic, if we may as well. We already have everything else that we pretty much need. And if you happen to fall down, we have some pots that have arrows and such in them. Fun, I know. But, let's go ahead into this little area right here. Now, funny thing is that, this little area with these stairs, it's very dark, but once you start walking up them, I think what the N64 does is that it detects Link's position, and it starts to light up the staircase for him to see where he's going. But that's just me. That's just me. I could be spitting out nonsense at this point, but hey. Let's go in and find out what's going on once and for all. The Triforce parts are now resonating. They are combining into one again. The 2 Triforce parts that I could not capture on that day 7 years ago. I didn't expect they would be hidden within you two. And now, finally, all the Triforce parts have gathered here. These toys are too much for you. I command you to return them to me. LSP, I can't help you because of the ways of darkness. I can't get close. I'm sorry, LSP. The Great King of Evil, Ganondorf. So, funny thing is that this and Wind Waker actually have great amounts of parallels because we're going to play tennis here again. As opposed to Aghanim, when you fight him to the Link in the past, you can actually use the bottle. And yeah, this actually had quite a bit of parallelism when it came to Wind Waker, because you can do this with Phantom Ganon. It's hilarious. But we could actually keep going here and see if we can get a good hit on him like this. And it has pretty much happened off screen. Let's see if we can do it again, but yeah, it couldn't be pretty random RNG because it can work, it could not work. It all just depends. There we go. Let's go ahead and strike him with a good old light arrow here. Now, another hilarious thing is that the big orange sword does in fact work on him. So, yeah, the hilarious part is that the N64 just made it to where we can defeat Ganon partially with a bottle. I'm not joking. But still, let's actually go ahead and try it one more time with the bottle, and if it seems like this is doing a better job than the Master Sword, it's ridiculous. But actually, if I actually want to, I can use the Master Sword on the final go. Let's actually do that instead, because it's very traditional to me at least, but hey. The bottle was fun. Let's make it one last time with the Master Sword, if we can. Okay, so, I wanted to point this out. This is an attack that really nobody ever gets or understands on the first time, but go ahead and charge up a sprint attack and do that. And hit him with those energy orbs, and then get him with a light arrow. And that battle is pretty much a piece of cake. The great evil King Ganondorf, beaten by this kid. That kind of grossed me out for the first time when I saw it. He was just puking everywhere. LSP. Ganondorf, pitiful man. Without a strong righteous mind, he could not control the power of the gods. And LSP, listen to me. This tower will collapse soon. With his last breath, Ganondorf is trying to crush us in the ruins of the tower. We need to hurry and escape. Please follow me. Okay, so what the N64 does is that when it detects falling rocks and boulders of some kind, it will slow down the frame rate. A good example of this is when you actually try to walk up Death Mountain before you actually defeat Volvagia. It will drop frame rate. Yep, that's just pretty much the way that it works. And when we enter this little first loading zone here, all that will go away. All that will go away. It only happens when we're outside, per se. So, have no fear, it will fix itself right now. Check it out. But yeah, this little area actually does have a nice little chance of hitting you with rocks and boulders and fiery little areas. But hey, you can take damage from them, you might not, but it all depends. Now, Zelda will kind of make that noise when you actually jump from a little surface. She will gasp in fear of you actually falling to your death off of that ledge, but hey, it's not going to happen. I'm going to make sure that it doesn't happen at all. So this little spot, funny enough, she will just walk there and stop, and actually makes a little cutscene for you as well. But she is now surrounded by fire, and we have to escape with her and kill Stalfos again. Pretty fun, I know. And we actually got hit by a rock, but that's not optimal. Come on. Hello, Stalfos. And the last one standing. I'm not sure if he actually comes back to life, because his remains just kind of chill there for a little bit. So I'm going to go on the limb and say that he does, because it's funny enough how he just kind of lives, and he doesn't actually disappear permanently when you defeat him. Thank you, LSP. Now let's hurry. And she's nice enough to drop health for us. Yeah. Anyway. Let's get out of here once and for all, Zelda. You're not going to hold me behind. I know that you're the Princess of Hyrule, but man, we are going to burn alive if you don't hurry up. Anyway. And she's going to probably gasp again when I make that. Zelda, I'm going to be fine. Will you just knock it off with the gasping? I mean, I'm gonna be okay. I'm probably gonna plummet to my death anyway, but still, it's just gonna happen. It's acceptable. I can just respawn. I'm Link. I can just respawn anywhere that I want. Anyway. Me and my bad analogies with death voids, man. But hey. So this particular spot, it's kind of funny because if you can manage to get through here without it getting hit one time like I did right there, good luck, because either you have tremendous luck if you have not gotten hit one time, or you're just skilled. That's just the way that it is. But this Redead here, there's like a 50% chance of him seeing you when you pass him up, but a lot of the time he will see you anyway. So no problems there. Just go ahead and run away from him. He will not glass ball into you or anything, so don't worry there. But hey, here we are, Zelda with 1 minute and 2 seconds to spare. So this is the end of escaping the castle. It's over. It's finally over. LSP, I'm sorry I couldn't help you in the battle before. I think we all know what that sound was, but hey. She says, what is that sound? I think they meant to type what was it because it only happened once. But hey, before we actually go and trigger this cutscene, I want to point out something. If you actually stand on the very peak, it basically shows where you found the 99th or final Skulltula, depending on what order you did it in. But hey, it actually leads back to Castle Town that way if you just happen to go up that trail. But hey, I think we all should find out what that sound was and go forward. There's no way he's going to hold me back again. This time, we fight together. Okay, so what the funny thing is about the Battle of Ganon is that we actually have options after he swipes out the Master Sword from your hand. If you have the Big Iron Sword, which is unbreakable, we can use this. If you have the Megaton Hammer, which you should at this point, if you've played the game within the acceptance of not escaping boundaries, you should have the Megaton Hammer. So we actually have light arrows to shoot at his head, or his face, depending on where you want to shoot it at. But we can use the Megaton Hammer on his tail. We can just kind of drop between his legs, and that's a not what she said joke, but and then strike his tail with the Big Iron Sword if you actually happen to have it. So you have options. You have options, and it's just the way that it is. And the final option that you actually have is that you can shoot his tail with a light arrow. So you have quite a handful of alternatives when he swipes out the Master Sword from Link's hand. So it's just the way that it is. Slip between his legs again, and go ahead and get him. So that's the first phase, and the funny thing is that there's a lot of funny things that I'm talking about here, but LSP, the Master Sword is here. Hurry up. So at this specific point, the Big Iron Sword has lost 100% of its power. It is now a hunk of junk. So, go ahead and use the Master Sword for the remainder of the fight, and you will be set to go. So, it's sad to say that we actually have to form a parting with the Big Iron Sword. It was a fun weapon to use. It's helped me a lot, specifically if you use it in the Battle of Dark Link or Dark LSP like me in the Water Dungeon. But, hey, we have to make a nice little farewell to it right here. So let's go ahead and strike him with a light arrow. And how did that not even work? So, yeah, if you happen to get struck by his hits, Zelda will let out a shriek of terror and fear in lieu of Link getting hit, pretty much. So that's just the way that it is. I may as well demonstrate it. I didn't really plan to get hit in this battle, but hey. I figured I would when I hit the record button, but still, let's go ahead and strike his tail. Okay. Now, if you actually happen to find yourself low on magic, or whatever it is, whatever it happens to be, we can lure him over to one of these obstacles if I can manage to do it here. Let's go ahead and let him do a good swipe on this wall. You will have magic. So, there you go. I think health will be in another, if he actually happens to make his way on over here. Let's go ahead and try this little wall right here. It might not work, but we'll see. What's in here? A fairy. That's nice. He actually hit me when I was in the phase of, like, obtaining a fairy. That's, like, kind of hilarious to me. But, there you go. Oh, my dear. Thanks, Ganon. And that's it. I'm using my power to hold the evil king. You use your sword and deliver the final blow. So, before we say goodbye, we must revive all of our health, which is why I kept an additional fairy. Let's go ahead and use it and call it quits. We are now ready. The people are ready. Ganon, I must bid you adieu. That was so fun. Six sages, now. Ancient creators of Hyrule. Now, open the sealed door and send the evil incarnation of darkness into the void of the evil realm. Thank you, LSP. Thanks to you, Ganondorf has been sealed inside the evil realm. Thus, peace will once again reign in this world, for a time. All the tragedy that has befallen Hyrule was my doing. I was so young, I could not comprehend the consequences of trying to control the sacred realm. I dragged you into it too. Now it is time for me to make up for my mistakes. You must lay the Master Sword to rest and close the door of time. However, by doing this, the road between times will be closed. LSP, give the Ocarina to me. As a sage, I can return you to your original time with it. When peace returns to Hyrule, it will be time for us to say goodbye. Now, go home, LSP. Regain your lost time. Home, where you're supposed to be, the way you were supposed to be. Thank you, LSP. Goodbye. The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, is and always will be known as a gem of my childhood. This is a test of the first 3D Zelda title in history, and boy did it pay off. Some of my friends here on YouTube briefly stated that Ocarina of Time had been one of their purchase choices when it came to N64 titles, and this one specifically, they said, branched out their taste in Zelda titles, or any game title of that particular matter. But today, I would like to specifically address my experience with Ocarina of Time. As a kid, at the age of 9, I remember starting out in the Deku Tree and making it to the boss, Goma. That is when I turned off the game and decided to give up, because I was terrified and barely knew how to defeat any boss in a Zelda game. That all changed when my cousin Chris and I played through this game together for the very first time. He would update me on his progress, and so would I. We would even bring each other our memory cards and play from when we left off in a particular dungeon, and go through it together blind. When we got to the point of getting all 3 spiritual stones and pulling the Master Sword, my jaw dropped at the fact that we could experience both sides of the life of Link, as a child and adult. Now, this part is going through some controversy, and I think that this is one of the reasons, in my opinion, that Ocarina of Time is the most talked about game of 2024, in my opinion, but we shall see. Most argued against Zelda's decision to send Link back in time just at the end. This is because people believe that it would specifically interrupt Link's post-adventure life. Not that it's any loss. Ganondorf is still sealed within the evil realm, past or present at this point. But people are allowed to have opinions. Ocarina of Time does indeed spark the curiosity and wonders of others around the world. It has its ways of providing clues and Easter eggs that are non-story oriented. But with those differences aside, it has been a heartwarming and compelling journey to be able to finally re-experience this game on my channel. I wanted to let that music play for just a little bit, but to continue my experience. That is pretty much just what has happened in the past for me. It's been a joy, and I love it. And I didn't specifically plan this, but the finale did end up being my 400th video special. It kinda just happened. However, I hope that I had fully delivered the wishes of anyone who wanted a solidified down 100% playthrough of Ocarina of Time. It was one of the greatest honors to replay this to its fullest extent. With that, I will see everyone in my next project, in whichever it happens to be. With that, stay tuned, subscribe, like, comment, or anything else, and peace out, everyone.